Broadcast Network. KSAM Huntsville is 101.7.
Texas, how's it going today? Well, good to have everybody here, and welcome to another edition of the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. We are live here from True Texas Barbecue. Let's give a big thank you to HEB and True Texas Barbecue as well. Thanks for having us all season, HEB and True Texas. Well, we're excited to be here today. The Huntsville Hornets taking care of business versus the Rudder Rangers 36-17 this past Friday on the road in Bryan. 256 total rushing yards on 48 attempts. Brian, it was a solid game. It was a fun one to watch and a great one to call there in Bryan, man.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great game to call. And you know what? I love the fact that the Hornet rushing game kind of had an explosion. And the amount of offensive yards and the balanced offense. I was talking to Coach Brewer prior to coming on to the show, and I'm seeing a nice balance of passing and running. And I think that's a recipe for success. As you've seen, the Hornets are 4-0 to start the season.
Well, we've changed up things just a little bit here for our studio audience because in the past we'd always have the coach and the players sit at the very end. Well, the folks that are here couldn't really never see people if they were sitting to the back. So we've changed it up a little bit, and we're going to have a lot of fun here today. But for now, we'll step aside. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're actually going to talk to the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, David Brewer. Coming up here in just a moment. Stay with us, friends. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show right here on KSAM. We'll be right back.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
The Sam Houston State Rodeo team is ready to ride. Be there as they compete against the nation's best college rodeo athletes in the toughest of sports, the National Intercollegiate Rodeo. Friday and Saturday, November 13th and 14th, 7 p.m. nightly at the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe. Save now on pre-sale tickets at Cavender's Boot City in Huntsville and Conroe. The National Intercollegiate Rodeo. Friday and Saturday, November 13th and 14th. And the Sam Houston Men's and Women's Rodeo team, a winning tradition of champions.
All right, friends, welcome back. We are live from True Texas Barbecue here inside of HEB, now joined by the offensive coordinator and assistant coach, Mr. David Brewer. Coach Brewer, how's it going, man? Good to have you in the house tonight.
Going good. Good to be here.
Yeah, let's give it up for Coach Brewer real quick. Got the players. Everybody's here tonight. Well, Coach Brewer, just awesome to have you here tonight. I know that Coach Southern couldn't be here, but, Coach, just wanted to start just a little bit of history with you. You started with Coach Southern, I believe, back at Marshall, the Mustangs, 18, 19 years ago?
Yes, sir. It was Marshall Mavericks. Back in 2003, 2004, we were there 5 years together, and then followed him to Belton for 7 years. And then when he made the move to come to Huntsville, I followed him here to Huntsville. Been here, this will be the seventh year here with him.
Awesome. Coach, do you mind talking just a little bit closer on there? Sorry, I need to get another headset. That's what we need to get. So, well, Coach, it's been a really cool history, you know, and now here with Huntsville for quite some time. What has been just some of the unique things that you've seen this year that maybe you haven't seen in years past? This has been a really special year so far for these Hornets.
It has. You know, we not having a spring to go through and kind of evaluate players and see where they fit offensively and defensively. You know, we had a really good group of seniors last year and lost a bunch of players, so we had to kind of figure out in a hurry where these kids were going to fit and offensively kind of our identity. But we're real young up front, and I've really been proud of the way they keep fighting up front and keep getting better every week. And it's kind of taken us 3 or 4 weeks to kind of find our identity. But I think last week we kind of figured out some things that we can do really well that not only helps us offensively, but helps teams that have good offenses, keeping them off the field, and helps our defense as well.
Well, we opened up, 10-5A play with that convincing victory, of course, against Bryan. How big was that win? To open things up, there was a lot of hype going into that game, talking about Rudder, about this is a different team this year. They're definitely off up until, of course, our game that we played versus them. They were off to their best start in program history, making a serious run, it looked like, for their first time to possibly get into the playoffs. I know we're still very early, though, but this was a big win for the Hornets, Coach.
It was a big win. Anytime you can start district play winning the first ball game, that's big. Bryan Rudder was improved from the years past. They were leading the district offensively, putting up a lot of points and a lot of total yardage in all the games they had played. So we knew going in that they had a pretty good offense. Defensively, they've always been really athletic, been able to run around and fly to the ball really well. So we knew going in that we needed to play good, sound offensive football and do the things we needed to do to win.
Hey, Coach, solid rushing night against Rudder, and 256 total yards on the ground. Jalen Mcclane came out and kind of exploded, and you got a couple of just fantastic backs in Butcher and McLean. How impressed were you with the running game? Because as we talked about earlier, it seemed to me like with the spread offense nowadays, there's not a lot of rushing game, but it seems like this year with the Hornets, it's a more balanced offense.
It is, and that's what we strive for every year, is to be balanced when we're not just one-sided all the time. But, coming out against Rudder because they were so athletic, this felt like coming straight at them, kind of old school football, you could say. It was something we were going to do early and see how that worked out. And we got 2 backs that like to run the football. And so we were going to test them and see how they would hold up to us running the football. And it's like I told the kids when it was over with, I said, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. And so we started off running the ball well. It gave them some problems. And there were play action. I've always felt play action is a lot better under the center than in the shotgun a lot of times. So when you're able to run the football like that, it sets up your play action game as well.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, because if you set up play action, it freezes the linebackers and gives your quarterback options, you know what I mean? And that's been very impressive for me to watch and to see, because that reminds me of old school football, And, A.J. Wilson, you're a former collegiate quarterback from La Tech. A.J. Wilson is a junior. What are your impressions of this young man so far?
Well, anytime you play that position, you got a lot of responsibilities that no other position has. So being a junior, not having a lot of games under his belt, you kind of want to do some things to help protect him, let him get some games where he's experienced it, the good and the bad. And what's impressed me is every week, he wants to know what he did wrong, he wants to get better and try to correct it. And he's very athletic, so we've kind of figured out some things that he's confident in doing. And he's just getting better of controlling the offense, getting guys in the right position, and making them plays when we need him to make them.
Coach Renaud, of course, you're on the offensive side of things, but just give you an opportunity to speak on the defense. Another strong performance, as we know. This defense continues game in and game out to do great things. The offense, a great job, stepping up, doing some big things this past week. But on the defensive side, forcing 4 turnovers. Talk a little bit about that and maybe some of the pressure that we saw there versus Rudder, Coach.
Well, we've really played good defense the last several years at Huntsville, and we knew our defense was going to be pretty solid. We knew they had some places where they were going to be young too, because they left some good football players last year. But we knew the front 4 up there defensively was going to be their strength. And so our job offensively was to limit turnovers, try to keep the time of possession on our side. And we knew when our defense got on the field, they were going to create turnovers. So our job is not to hurt ourselves early, let our defense do what they do. And we knew that they wouldn't be able to run the football on us, that throwing the football is what they were going to probably try to do. And with the guys we got up front, with the Bobino brothers and Q Riles at end, and you got Calvin at linebacker, that they would get some pressure on him. And so if they got into the passing game, we knew we had a really good chance, because that's where our defense really steps it up when teams try to throw the football.
And Coach, talk a little bit, you may have touched on this a little bit, but that offensive line too, when I always want to, you don't get to hear about a lot of the offensive line, because it's, not your power positions. But those guys they're up front. They're making the plays. They're helping protect the quarterback, your running back. Speak a little bit more about your offensive line and just how happy you've been with the guys on the offensive side.
Well, they've really come on. I thought they grew up last week. We're playing 2 sophomores. We got 1 senior at the left tackle, Cruz. He's the only one who dressed out varsity last year. Trey Garrett at our center's the first year that he started varsity ball. And so, our right tackle's a junior. So we got 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, and a senior up front. So they just needed to play football. They needed to get their nose bloodied a little bit and figure out how to play the game. And I think what we call old school football, getting in the eye and handing it off, really helps them because they don't have to maintain the blocks quite as long. And when you get 2 backs back there, you can use 1 as a blocker too, and it kind of helps that offensive line grow up a little bit when you're coming downhill with the kind of backs we have that you can do some good things. But I thought last week they really grew up, did some things that we've been wanting them to do, and I think helping getting in the eye and doing some things we did really helped them grow up, and they did a good job last week.
Coach, after the ball game was over, what did you tell your group of guys about the game?
Well, the opposing coach kind of challenged us offensively. At least he challenged me. I basically told my group that, there was comments made that they were going to shut our offense down, and he wasn't worried about our offense. So I kind of took that as a challenge for our guys, and I said, so we came right at them. And it was kind of a situation where when you get challenged like that, it's either fight or flight, and our guys fought. And they proved that we can be pretty good offensively too. And so I was proud of them, sticking with the game plan. A lot of times running the football 7-8 times in a row, a lot of people hadn't seen before. And so it just seemed like the more we did it, the better we got at it. And so that was what I was proud of. So I was just proud of them for playing good old-fashioned football and taking it right to them.
And that, to me, was, again, my biggest take was that. It seemed like old-school football, smash-mouth football. I mean, the defense is doing just what they've been doing every week. I mean, stuffing the run and doing great, in the secondary. But, man, that offense, when you've got a balanced offense like that, like you said, teams don't see that much anymore. Right. And when you have running backs like you have, and you have a quarterback like you have, and an O-line, they're young, yet they're fighters. I mean, it has been fun to watch.
We did some good things, and I think we'll just keep getting better. We just got to keep building on what we did last week and do some things better this week. And every week tweak some things, maybe add, a little bit of things here and there with formations. But I think that's probably going to be our strength is coming downhill and running the football, because it's going to help set everything else up. Because we got some good receivers outside that no doubt can get open in space and catch a football. We just got to let our offensive line grow up, and once we're running the football, they understand too that it's going to open up everything else.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time in this first segment. Make sure to stay with us, because we'll bring Coach Brewer back on as we look ahead to this coming up week. Stay with us, friends. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show live tonight here from True Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
It's Truck Month here at Wiesner in Huntsville. Hi, folks. Clint Mack here with Wiesner in Huntsville, and it's Truck Month. That means you get the best deals of the year on your favorite Chevy truck, Tahoe, and Suburban. We've got 3/4 tons, 1 tons, and half tons. When they say they don't have it, come to Wiesner of Huntsville, and we'll get it. We've got trucks starting at $28,986 and an Equinox for only $16,990. So for the best selection, you need to hurry to Wiesner in Huntsville or shop us online at WiesnerHuntsville.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Time for a break. A CBD break, that is, with the wonderful certified CBD consultants down there at American Shaman. You can buy CBD feeling comfortable and informed with a wide variety of options available. You can't go wrong if you go the American Shaman way. Certified by the U.S. Hemp Authority, which is the standard for compliance and control in the hemp industry. So you know every product that you get will be just as good as the last. So go down to American Shaman today and get a free sample on them. Located at 1215 Sam Houston Avenue, just across from the Sam Houston Antique Mall. American Shaman CBD.
All right, friends, welcome back. We are live from True Texas Barbecue. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, well, we're excited, glad to be back as we look ahead here in this second segment. Back at home at Bowers, really for the last game at Bowers before we change venues versus A&M Consolidated, going to be homecoming. The Tigers 5-0, 1-0 in district play after a 56-0 stamping of Lamar Consolidated last week. Their second straight shutout. The Tigers have outscored their opponents 228-69. And, of course, the Tigers last year defeating the Hornets 24-14. Coach, as we continue to talk to Coach David Brewer, who is here tonight for Coach Rodney Southern. Coach Brewer, another tough test this week versus a very tough A&M Consolidated Tiger team that is having one of their best starts as well. Kind of what's the current mindset heading into this victory? You know, after a very convincing win versus Rudder last week, I think things looking a little bit better here as we head into A&M Consolidated back here at home, Coach.
Well, you know, you kind of celebrate your victories, and the next day you go to work on your next opponent. We know that A&M is going to be well coached. It's always a battle when we play them. Defensively, I think they're going to be ready. Coach Schroeder does a good job defensively. I know he's got a good game plan, getting those guys ready, and it'll be a good football game.
Coach, talking about game plan, what's Huntsville have to do to establish themselves early?
Well, I think, you know, field position is what you always want to try to do when you first start a game, but I think for us offensively, we got to control the football, get first downs, get ourselves in good field position where we can take some shots when we need to, and run the football. You know, anytime you can run the football consistently and be successful doing it, it kind of demoralizes the defense, and then it, you know, when you keep pounding it on them, getting them tired up front, it helps our offensive line when we do throw the football. So I just think we got to establish the run early, get first downs, move the chains, and play field position. And I know our defense is going to create turnovers, and when they do, we got to get points when they give us the opportunity to.
Well, Coach, on the offensive side, as far as looking at A&M Consolidated, maybe some positions that we should keep an eye out for as broadcasters, the audience out there, some folks on the A&M side, position-wise, that we should keep an eye out for.
Well, offensively, they got their quarterback back, so anytime you got somebody that's played the year before coming back, that gives them some strength there with the maturity part of it. And they got a receiver that has caught, you know, quite a few footballs this year. I think that's, you know, traditionally in the past they like to throw the football, and I think that's something that our players are aware of and they're prepared for. But I think that's what I think they'll get into, you know, trying to throw the football. We got a good defensive front, so running it, you know, I think is going to be tough on them. And I think you get them into the passing game, it also builds into our strength too. But they're good at getting the ball out quick a lot of times, and Coach Fedora over there does a good job offensively of scheming. So, but our defense will be prepared.
Coach, you talked about what you got to do to establish yourselves. What are your keys going to be for victory?
Well, I think one is, you know, that Coach Sullivan always says there's going to be some ups and downs in a football game, and no matter what happens, you stay focused, you keep playing. And no matter, you know, if you're up 2 touchdowns or down 2 touchdowns, this game is played with 4 quarters. And a lot of things can happen between those 4 quarters. So you just got to play every snap and be consistent at what you're doing. When you make mistakes, learn from them. Don't keep repeating them. And just weather the storm sometimes, you know, so to speak, is what you got to do. And I think the teams in the end that create more turnovers, the ones that mentally have less mistakes and just keep battling and don't let some of the ups and downs you have to face in the football game get to you. It's like we tell our players offensively, you know, that play's over when you do something wrong. Don't let that play affect the next play. And so I think you just got to take it quarter by quarter and try to win each quarter. You come in at halftime, you make adjustments, see where you're at, what you need to do the second half, and then whatever you need to do the second half, you do to win the football game.
Coach, on the offensive side, just kind of overall health of the team right now. And, you know, we've had this rainy drizzle. It's gotten pretty cool outside. Some say that's good football weather. How have practices been this week also, Coach?
They've been good. You know, the weather hadn't been too bad. At least we've been able to go outside. It hadn't rained bad where we could go outside. But our kids are focused. They kind of know what's at stake. It's no secret that between us and A&M Consolidated, it usually comes down to us winning the district or them winning the district. This game is very, very important for deciding who's going to be the district champion. Every year it has been. So I think they're very well aware of how important this game is if you want to be a district champion in the end. And it's also one game closer to getting to the playoffs because district games matter now. You don't get no more preseason games. Every game matters, so this is just one step closer that gets us to our goal, and that's getting into the playoffs.
You know, Coach, playing basically one last game here at Bowers before we move on to Madisonville. We're going to have to finish out the rest of the home games there. How does that affect kind of the offensive flow of things? You know, I'm assuming you just go game as planned. If we're going to play this last one here at Bowers, of course, but then those 2 final home games will be at Madisonville. So kind of talk about that a little bit and how that maybe changes up a few things, if it does at all.
Well, you know, we travel every week. We really don't have a home stadium. So our guys are used to traveling an hour away, 2 hours away. They're used to traveling 2 minutes away down the street to Sam Houston Stadium. So going to Madisonville or going to Bowers, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for our guys because we've always played well on the road. We played well when we stay at home in Huntsville. So our guys are used to traveling, used to getting themselves ready for it, and I think, you know, we'll be just fine when we have to do that.
Coach, since you've been here at Huntsville and Coach Southern and everything, you've had a prolific offense, and it has been fun to watch, and it just keeps getting better. And the defense, it's the same thing. I mean, you've brought in my opinion, you brought the Hornet winning attitude back to this program. Give me your final thoughts on that and kind of what you, if you want to expound on that.
Well, I think, you know, I've been with Coach Southern 19 years, and the things we do now, we did when we were in Marshall for 5 years, and then we went to Belton, we did it for 7 years, and I kind of knew step by step when it came to Huntsville what we were fixing to do because the system works, you know, the way he sets up the athletic department, the athletic programs, hiring coaches, putting them in the right positions, teaching our offense and defense all the way down to the 7th grade levels, teaching it in camps we have in the summer. It's just a system that he's installed, and it's worked everywhere we've been. And so I just kind of see you see a result of that. You know, anytime you get a new head coach, AD, come in somewhere, and you have a superintendent that says, hey, whatever you need, you got, and let him run it, then you see the results of it. And Coach Southern has proven every school he's been to that he's got a system that works. If you'll just let me run this and do it the way that I know that works, it's going to work. And it's proven everywhere we've been that this system works. And we've had a community, we've had administration that's trusted him, that buy into it, and been fortunate to hire good coaches. We knew Huntsville had players, you know, that you can go all the way back to the 70s and 80s and the Clemens days and all the way through. Huntsville's always had good football players. And when we were able to come in and Coach Southern set the system up and the athletic program the way it needed to be, it's just I think it's set up now where it should win every year because the system works.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we appreciate you, Coach Brewer. You know, there's so many pieces to a football program from the players, of course, and you bring in the band and the GGs and all these components that really make up the entire football team, and then the assistant coaches and what you guys do. So it's such a pleasure and an honor to be able to talk to you today. We hear from Coach Southern so much, so it's really cool to hear from another perspective and just continuing to talk about that leadership. So, Coach Brewer, thank you so much for what you do for these kids. I know you're making a tremendous impact, and thank you for what you do here in the Huntsville community. We appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Let's give it up one more time. Assistant
Go
Coach
Hornets.
David Brewer. Appreciate it, Coach. Well, we'll step aside, friends. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll interview players and more. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show live here tonight from True Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back here in just a few moments.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
Looking for no bull customer service, no bull selection, and no bull pricing? Then head to Bill Fick Ford in Huntsville, your no bull Super Duty and Super Crew headquarters. Right now at Bill Fick Ford, there's a huge savings to be had on all in-stock 2019 Ford Rangers and Ford Transit vans. Hurry in today and see for yourself why so many people buy time after time at Bill Fick Ford. Or shop online at BillFickFord.com. Nationwide delivery is free. Bill Fick Ford, I-45 South in Huntsville.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable, and serving part-time can help you graduate debt-free. Do you want to stay close to friends and family? The Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want. Learn more by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
All right, friends, welcome back. We are live here from True Texas Barbecue. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, man. All right. Well, we're having a lot of fun here tonight. Brian Adams, I'm Rob Hipp alongside Brian Adams. We are now joined by our offensive impact player of the game, the junior running back, Jalen Mcclane. J-Mac, what's going on, man?
J-Mac.
Let's give it up for J-Mac. I said it's either got to be J-Mac or J-Money. He says J-Mac, man, is the nickname. So what's going on, young man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, man. So it's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here, man.
What's the season been like so far? We're going to dig right into it, man. How's it been? You know, what's going through your mind, man?
This season has been fun. I mean, being with these guys, I learned a lot from them. We just learn a lot from each other, and just, like, being around them is fun. And just learning more about the offense and just being on varsity, higher standards, it's just a lot, man.
And this is your first year on varsity, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're stepping into a pretty big role, and talking about you're not stepping into a big role, you're running into a big role, man. 25 rushes, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns last week.
Outstanding.
Man, I think you took the rudder off that ship, man, and just kept on gliding for Huntsville. You talk a little bit, you mentioned a little bit now, as a junior, your first year, but there's still some roles, some leadership roles for you too, that there's other players that look up to you. Expand more on your role on the team at that running back position, man.
My role in the team is just encourage my teammates, run the ball hard, especially just encourage our young O-line because they've been doing great this year, and I'm proud of them. And just like helping more, just being a factor when with the ball and not with the ball, just blocking, helping the best way I can with the team.
You know, one of the things, J-Mac, I love about your running style is you run hard and you secure that football. But if you take one shot, it takes more than that to bring you down. And I love that running style. Do you have any role models, any running backs at any level that you've looked up to that you're trying to imitate their style?
I'm not going to lie. Clemson, Travis Etienne is one of my favorite running backs. And Le'Veon Bell. So I like playing like them and just running ball hard, not going down with the first tackle or just making man miss a lot.
That's awesome. I love it.
You mentioned something. I think this kind of gets lost in translation sometimes. Now, of course, the parents out there that follow the team and, you know, the folks that are out there that follow very closely the positions, they know this. But maybe other people that just come and watch the games, you're not – when the ball doesn't go to you, there's other roles that you have to have. You talked about blocking and those kind of things. Expand a little bit more on that and just when you don't have the ball, what are you out there doing and how do you prepare for that?
When I'm blocking, I know that if I block, it's going to create another space for my other teammates to get open and get the ball more so they can do something with the ball because I know all of our wide receivers, they can do something in open space and they can do something even with contact. And I know that if I help out with the line and I love blocking. I like cutting, and I mean, it makes me fun because even without the ball, I can still make an impact in the game, and I just know that I can help my offensive line and my receivers and help AJ out the best way I can and just have fun doing it.
How have the seniors welcomed you in as a first-year varsity junior, man? How's the love been, man?
It's been fun. I mean, I laugh with them every day. I mean, we play with each other. I mean, it's honestly. It's honestly fun. I mean, having them is one of the best things ever, and they some good teammates, and I love them.
That's awesome, man. We're talking to junior running back Jalen Mcclane. Jalen, what's been the most fun so far this season? We're one game into district play. We've been dealing with this COVID pandemic, but football finally got back in action, of course. What's really been a lot of fun this year? Thinking positive, man. What's been some fun things so far that you've enjoyed the most?
I think the most fun thing is just enjoying my teammates and learning more about them, learning more about the football team, helping them out, and just like being a role model. And I'm glad that and I'm blessed that they trust me enough to just run the ball hard every Friday and to depend on me. And I love them. I do. I really do.
J-Mac, what do you think going forward you could do to improve your game?
Personally, I think I can help receiving the ball more, like just catching the ball out of the backfield and just I think just creating space in the open field and making one guy miss. And I mean that's about it. I'm like running the ball. It haven't really been as hard this year, but I just know find that one hole and just hit it. and that's about it.
Well, you said something a while ago, and what's so important for these guys, your teammates, to know is play till the whistle blows, right? And you had an outstanding game as a running back Friday night, but as Rob mentioned, there's more to it than just carrying the football. And you just never know when that extra block or that extra effort is going to blow something open. Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of that with you and your teammates. Talk about that a little bit.
I think it was just the fact that all of us know what's at stake, and we know we want to get in the end zone at the end of the play and know how to get in the zone. And as long as we keep our feet moving and just one of the plays, one of my touchdowns, they had a big push in the O-line, and it just put all hands in. They just led me. And that's the best thing about being teammates with these guys, because even when I can go down, they're going to pick me back up, and it's same for them, because I love them and I care about them.
I think the culture and the brotherhood is so important to any team. It's what makes things work, and it seems like this year you guys have really gelled, through a lot of adversity. As I mentioned, the pandemic a while ago and so many other things, you guys continue to gel together, and that's been inspirational for us as broadcasters and for this community to watch that. So I want to commend you on that, Jalen, and your team, and continue to do that, man. We look ahead to Friday, A&M Consolidated, the Tigers. What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to, man?
I think it's just the fact that we finally going to have a challenge, and we know that we're going to be ready, and they're going to be ready, and it's going to be two teams that are going to be ready to fight, and I'm just ready to play, and my teammates are ready to play, and I just know that we just going to have to get ready, being happy. I'm ready to play. AJ, Justin, Jamarcus, all of them, I know we're going to be ready. So
do you consider – well, you just said we're finally going to have a challenge. So was last week wasn't a challenge?
Oh, yeah. Last week was a challenge. I was just like – was something that come to the top of my head.
I got you.
But it was just I know A&M is good. We've been doing a lot of film on them, and I know their defense is very good offensively. We're good too, and I trust our defense, and I trust our offense.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, man. It's so amazing to be in this community for you as a young man growing up now and being a varsity player here now in the program. The Huntsville Hornet name has a lot of legacy, a lot of heritage, a lot of history behind it. What does it mean to you to be a Huntsville Hornet, to put on that uniform, man?
To put on that uniform every day, it means that I have to be set to a higher standard, and I know what I'm supposed to do every night, and put on that uniform makes me happy. And that's one of the best things about being on this football team. You learn stuff every year, and I learn from my teammates. I do, and being with them every day, it makes me a better person. Like I said, it makes me a better person, makes me a better player, and having them is, honestly, they're my brothers, and I love them.
J-Mac, you're talking about Rob asked you what it meant for you to be a Hornet, and I know it's special because I'm one as well. And there's so many, and I don't want to say old school guys, but there's a lot of us older guys.
Brian's old school. Sorry.
He is old school. But we are keeping, these guys are keeping a close watch on you guys because they care, they're rooting for you, and they want just everything to go well for you guys. And it is so much fun for us to see the family atmosphere with this varsity club is just amazing. What some of the hobbies? What do you kind of like doing besides football?
Honestly, I like watching film a lot. I work out on the days that I can. And honestly, I like playing games sometimes with my friends, and just learning more about school. It just because I like being smart, and just education is first. So that's about it.
That's awesome, because education is so important. Because you'll always have education,
yes, sir.
And it's something that you need. So that's awesome.
Man, looking ahead, where do you want to be? What's your future plans? Where would you like to be? What would you like to do?
Honestly, I want to play Division I football, and I just want to and I want to be, when I grow up after football, I want to be a motivational speaker.
That's awesome, man.
And motivate kids that think they can't do something that they can, and anybody that's capable of doing anything if they put their mind to it.
That's great. Let's give a round of applause on that, man. Amen. I love hearing that. I think that's so important, man, and so great as we're finishing up here with junior running back Jalen Mcclane. Jalen, camera's right there on you, man. Who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight from Huntsville, Texas? There's 3.2 million people watching right now.
Don't look.
I want to give a shout-out to my boy Jamarcus Howard. My grandmother, I love her, and all my friends and my brothers here. And I thank all the people that's here right now, and my coaches especially. And I appreciate them for everything they do for me.
Awesome. Well, keep up that positive attitude. You've got just like all of these guys, you have a bright future, man. Good things are heading your way, and we really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you up here, my man.
Yes, sir.
Let's give it up. Jalen Mcclane tonight.
J-Mac.
We're going to put the Tigers in the cage on Friday, and we're looking forward to it. We'll take a break. We'll step aside. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will continue the Hornet Nation Coaches Show right here on 101.7 KSAM. We'll be back in just a few moments. Stay with us.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
My sweet chick's feeling squeaky clean. When Charmin's rolling behind the scenes, Charmin TP gives me those cheeky clean feels. That ultra strong hype is all for reals. Those TP rolls got me a Charmin clean took-eth. Cheek to cheek feeling oh so shooketh.
Charmin Ultra Strong just cleans better. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
First Financial Bank wonders, how does your credit card treat you?
Well, their bill is always on time. Does that count?
You should visit First Financial. We have a variety of credit card options. Once approved, you'll get rewards just for using them.
Rewards?
Yes, like cash back, gift cards, travel, and more.
I could get used to treatment like that.
First Financial Bank. You first. The creditor and issuer of these cards is Alon Financial Services. See ffin.com for details. Cash back redeemable as a cash deposit to your First Financial checking or savings account or as a statement credit.
All right. Welcome back. True Texas Barbecue. How's the food tonight? Hey, you know one thing, Brian, that I haven't done this year that I always talk about when I broadcast is food, and we really haven't talked about it this year.
And we need to.
We need to start talking about
Texas barbecue.
We need to get a big old plate of barbecue right here in front of us, man. Well, hey, we're joined now by offensive impact player, another impact player of the game, our senior tight end, Jamarcus Howard. Jamarcus, let's give it up for Jamarcus. Welcome tonight. 6'6", man. Whew. That's tall. I asked you before we went on, did you play basketball? You played a little bit back in the day, but totally focused football now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, so far this season, 3 receptions, 33 yards last week, or 33 receptions, 33 yards last week. You had that 16-yard completion. You know, a tight end is a very special role because you have to go out there, you have to make big plays, you've got to block for your running backs. Talk a little bit more about your role on the team, man, and just what that's been at that tight end position.
Yeah, basically I just mow people down, block for the running backs. If I got to run a route, I catch the ball and get what I can. It's what I'm taught to do every day.
And what has that been like for you, man? You know, you're standing tall at 6'6". This season, what has it been like for you at that position, man?
Man, it's been fun. When Jalen get the ball or Justin get the ball, I tell him just run right behind me. I'm going to clean it up.
Love it.
Oh, man.
And you know, that. You had talked, so last year you came on and played during the playoffs. So this is now your first full year starting at varsity. What's that been like for you, man?
Man, it's been fun. It's an achievement I looked up to for a long time.
And talk a little bit about the brotherhood and just the family atmosphere with this team, man. You got a lot of great friends, a lot of great players out there that have your back also, young man.
Man, these guys here, I don't know what to say, but it's just fun playing with them, being around them. They goofy a lot, though. Might can get me in a little trouble, but
I have a sense that you're kind of up there with them, though, as far as that goes. You're clowning a little bit too, right, man? Who does the most? Who does the most clowning around on the team?
J-Mac.
Okay. All right, J-Mac does, man.
He's the leader.
He's the leader. Okay. So see, he didn't say that whenever we asked his role on the team. He didn't say clowning around, man. So.
Oh, Ed Bobino too.
Okay. All right. He gonna call everybody out now.
Everybody over there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. At 6'6", we were talking, man, just get AJ, throw it up. You're going to go up and get it, right?
Yeah, he just look at me, give me that look, and he'd be like, you know what's coming? I'd be like, oh, man, got to go up and grab this.
That's awesome. How'd you end up at tight end? Is that because of your height and your hands, or what do you think?
Everything. Coach just felt like it was a good fit, so he put me there. He expected me to go out and do what he expects. Block, catch the ball, do my job.
That's a good coach there, huh?
Yes, sir.
Smart, huh?
Coach Brewer, shout out to him.
Awesome, man. Well, we're talking to the senior tight end, Jamarcus Howard, in his first full season now is starting on varsity. It's been a special year, man. We look back at last week versus Rudder. That game, a lot of hype was going into that game because everybody had been talking about Rudder and how this has been their best start in program history, which it is. I don't want to downplay that. They've got a good program as well, but they had not played a defense like you guys, and honestly, the running game finally broke through for y'all. Talk a little bit more just about that game and what that victory was like to get started against a very tough team and get a very convincing win last week.
It was fun because all we do throughout the week is we be on social media a lot. We young. We see on social media how teams say they're going to do this and do that, and reporters talk about how they're going to do this and do that, and we got to prove them wrong.
Well, talking about your play specifically, where do you feel that you need to improve on, Jamarcus?
I can get stronger, faster. I can block a little better, catch the ball, get more yards, but do as I can for right now.
A&M Consolidated this Friday. What are you looking forward to most? Victory?
Of course, every week.
Right. What else?
Shoot, just do more than what we done throughout each and every week. Just get better every week.
You're talking. We're talking here to Jamarcus Howard, senior tight end, standing tall at 6'6", ready to get after it. This coming up Friday. Before we, talk more about that, just some of your role models, man. Who have you looked up to? Who's been there for you? Talk a little bit about that.
One, my coaches. I want to be like them. Like they some great individuals to look up to. They teach us what to do day in and day out. They know what they're doing. And then, like, if I look up to somebody that's famous or something, I looked to DeAndre Hopkins, a man like him. He's negotiated his own contract by himself, a great individual when he's out on the field. It's just, dang.
That's all it is, yeah. Well, Jamarcus, game prep as you go in. We don't give away any secrets, of course, but kind of walk us through your game prep, especially as we head in here at home for the game at Bowers versus A&M. Kind of tell us a little bit about your game prep. How do you get ready for a game? What goes into it during the week? Talk about that work ethic, man.
Man, the work ethic, we got to work hard every single day. That's what the coaches teach. Work hard every single day. The defense is going to shut them out, and offense, we're going to throw something at them they ain't seen yet.
Hey, Jamarcus, we ask all you players, but what for you does it mean to be a Hornet?
Being a Hornet is something I love. I can't even explain it. It's just like, dang, I'm a Hornet, a Huntsville Hornet at that. It's nothing like it.
There's no feeling like that, is it? I
No,
promise
sir.
you.
And I wanted to ask you this. We were talking earlier, too, before you came on. We're talking about hairstyles, man, all right? And I asked who has the best hair on the team. So I got to ask you, who has the best hair on the team, man?
Me, of course. J-Mac, stay over there, bro.
He's telling him to stay over there, man. Well, hey, we enjoy it. We like what you guys are doing this season. I mean, it's always been tremendous and such a privilege for us to call the games, to see what you young men are doing. And I want to let you know how much of an inspiration that you are and your team is to this community. Yes, and that's something I'm being very real about, that this football program and what you guys do, win or lose, this community is behind you. We support you. For me, being someone new that's came in here this year after spending 36 years of my life in another town, it's been very inspirational for me. So I want to give you a round of applause and your team, man, for what y'all do. Keep that up, young man.
Hey,
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Jamarcus, what are your future plans? What do you want to do when you get out of school?
If I'm blessed with the opportunity, go play football at the next level and really just be the man that everybody expect me to be, a good man, like not just get out into the world, not know what to do. I want to do something with my life.
That's awesome, man. That's what it's all about, brother. So, well, hey, man, camera's right here. Before you give a shout-out, though, it's a question I like to ask once in a while because you talked about getting out and doing something in the world, and I believe that you will. I believe that all you young men will. You're going to do some great things. You're Googling 30 years from now. You look up your name. You find yourself on YouTube right now at this moment 30 years from now. And that camera right there, what would you tell yourself? If you could go into the future and tell your 30-year self from now, what would you tell yourself, man? That's pretty deep.
I never expected you to be rich.
All right. All right, man. Hey, that's all right. Hey, that's all right. Hey, that's good, man. Well, finally, before we let you go, it's been fun. Jamarcus, who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight, man? People are out there watching. We got a lot of folks. Of course, we're on the radio, too. I like to put the pressure on you at the end instead of telling you all this up front, man. 2.8 million people now watching. Who do you want to say hello to tonight?
Shout out to my family, my friends, my coaching staff, my brothers, and most importantly, the community, because we know they're behind us.
That's great. Jamarcus Howard, thanks for being here, man. Senior tight end. Great interview. Another great young man.
Good job, Marcus.
We'll step aside and take a break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back as we'll interview one more player. We've got more heading your way. We're live here tonight from True Texas Barbecue. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. Stay with us.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
Buying or selling real estate, call 936-291-8800, MauryRealty.com. Maury Montgomery has been serving Huntsville, Walker County for over 12 years. So for all your real estate needs, call MauryRealty.com. We get it sold.
Whether it's a new firearm, cleaning kit, Kydex holster, knife, or knife sharpening, they have it all at Bullets, Blades, and Concealment. They also offer $15 FFL transfers, layaway, and gift certificates for that hard-to-shop loved one. Go by and see them today. Bullets, Blades, and Concealment. They're located in the Timber Hill Shopping Center, right next to Harbor Freight, at 111 Interstate 45 South in Huntsville. Go on by and see them or call 936-439-6727. Bullets, Blades, and Concealment.
All right, welcome back, Huntsville, Texas. True Texas Barbecue. Oh, we got a little extra slide in there.
I heard that.
Little True Texas Barbecue up in here, man. We're excited to be here tonight. Our final player interview. How about a defensive impact player and making an impact he is, the senior defensive lineman, Brian Bobino. Welcome, Brian. What's up, man? Let's give him a shout.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, Brian, having a lot of fun here. They call you Brian on the team?
Yeah, they call me Brian and Smooth sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Brian and what? Or Brian what?
And Smooth.
And Smooth. All right. Smooth, man. We're going to start. We're going to – you know how back in the day, who was it, Moose Johnson for the Cowboys, they'd always say, Moose. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that.
No, I'm too young.
Yeah, he's too young. God, this is making me feel –
Come on,
Brian. You're making me feel old now, man. So I was – I wrote 2020 on a piece of paper. I was having to sign something, and I don't even think about it. And I said, 2020, how are we already there, man? So thank you for helping me to feel a little bit older. I appreciate that, Brian. Smooth. Yes, so what we're going to do on the reason I brought that up is whenever you're out there, we're going to have to start going, smooth. All right, is that cool, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, so hold me to that, Brian.
I will.
We're talking to senior defensive lineman Brian Bobino, 29 tackles this season, over 7 per game. 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Great start to the season, young man, for you, man. And if I got those numbers wrong, you let me know because I'm pulling those stats. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Talk about your role on the team, man. It's been a fun this year. We've talked so much about the defense. It's been a fun season. Talk a little bit about your role, man, as a senior defensive lineman.
My role to the team is just to be the guy that everybody know that they can come and talk to, and people inside the meeting rooms, they sometimes prefer me as the pastor because they say I know what I'm be saying to calm them down.
I can see that, man. That's awesome. We're talking to Brian Bobino. The defense, the main story this season. The offense had a huge game last week as well, and that takes a lot of pressure off of you guys on the defensive side. Talking about that defense, since you're specifically there, what has contributed to the success this season that you've seen on that side of the ball, man?
On the defense, it's successful because we all knew each other. Like, we grew up, we all went to 5th grade together. We all went to MLK Park. And now for us to be 18, 17, 16, all playing with each other, it's just fun. It feels like that we're going out there and it's just something we was made to do.
Brian, we talked about it at break. You get to play right beside your brother, Ed. I mean, describe that experience, man.
It's fun. It's fun playing next to him. It reminds us of freshman days, like I told you earlier, because it was like everybody don't get the chance to play with their brother. It's either some brothers graduated 2 years before the brother came into high school, or it's just
I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's like I want it to last forever, but we know it's only going to last until January.
And I know the competition between you two guys has got to be just fierce.
Oh, yeah. He try to compete with me every day, and I be having to show him that you little bro.
Well, I tell you what, man, you guys have been so impressive, and it's been so fun to watch. And again, going back to CE King, when they tried to quarterback sneak it up the middle on you guys and you stuffed them every time was just amazing. And to share that with your brother had to be just incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I need to give shout-outs to Waylon because he was down on the ground holding the quarterback feet for his life. Yeah, so.
Waylon, good job, man.
Good job, Waylon. We're talking to Brian Bobino here, the senior defensive lineman. You know, a senior this year, getting the lead. You already talked about some of the leadership. They said they call you pastor. Was that what you said?
Yeah, in the meeting rooms.
In the meeting room. So talk a little bit more just about your leadership role and what that's meant now being a senior on this team.
It's meant a lot knowing that, like, sometimes they like to call me emotional because sometimes I be getting sad because it's like it's our last season. But it's like being the oldest on the team, I know that everybody is going to count and depend on me to do my job in just the same way as I count and depend on them because we one heartbeat.
Hey, Brian, going forward, what do you think you personally, what part of your game can you improve on?
I can improve on the speed because I don't like when Ed beat me to the open field tackles.
There's that competition again.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, between you guys, big men, very athletic big men, and I see it takes, teams that try to block you guys, they try to double team, that doesn't work, and they try to triple team, that doesn't work because that allows your teammates to come in and clean up, the mess. And, for me personally, broadcasting the ball games and watching you play has been just so much fun for me. So we appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I'd do anything for this community and for the team.
We're talking to Brian Bobino, senior defensive lineman. Brian, you guys have just been tremendous this year, and we've seen it throughout the entire team, offense, defense, especially you and your brother, man, because of the success that you guys have had on the defensive side. That puts a little bit of a target on you now. So what do you think about, when people say they're going to come after you or come after your brother or come after that defense, what maybe goes through your mind and how do you react to that? What's your response to that? Because the target's out there now, man.
Yeah, if they come after me and my brother, we know we got 9 other players on the defensive side that can go make a play, open field, and we got ball hawks as corners and safeties, and our football team, we just love and know the game so much, so well.
So y'all just ignore any of that. You're focused on football, and Coach Southern has brought up a lot of times. You'll see the opposing team at the beginning come out and do all this rah-rah and all this cheering, and Coach said we don't need to do all that. Talk a little bit about that, man. You guys prove the rah-rah on the field. You don't need to do it in the pregame antics, correct?
Yes, sir. We let the internet football players do what they do on the internet and come outside and talk about how they gonna beat us. But we know we came prepared from Saturday all the way to Friday, and we don't do that much talking because we already know what we came to do.
That's great. You leave it all out on the field, man. And talking about leaving it on the field, A&M consolidated back at home. Going to be a big game. What are you looking forward to in this one, Brian?
I'm looking forward to I'm the type of person, I don't really care about stats. I'm just looking forward to the W. It don't matter how we get it. We win by 40, 20, 3, 1. I'm just here for the W. That's my stat.
You know what? I love seeing the confidence in this team, in this defense, and the attitude that no matter what, we're going to dominate. We're going to win. That is a sign of a very good team, and that's something I'm seeing so far in these first 4 games. Tell me some of your role models, Brian. Who you look up to, that kind of thing.
I look up to my big brother Brandon over there. I look up to Ed, and my favorite football player was Reggie White.
That's a good one.
Let's get Brandon's here tonight. What's up, Brandon? Let's give Brandon. Thank you for being here, man.
Shout out to Brandon.
Your family is so important, man, and it's whether it's immediate family or extended family, your football family, your coaching family, it's very important to have that connection, and you guys have it here with this football team, and I think that's a huge part of the success is just having that brotherhood and that culture and that family, and that's what it's about, and I see that as someone who's new here, and that's what makes a team, because I've been around programs that I really haven't broadcast full-time for, but we're all going and maybe do a quick broadcast on a weekend. And sometimes I don't see that culture, and that shows up on the field. So I encourage you guys to remember that and to keep that together, because that's what it's all about, man, and you guys are doing that and doing it well. You know, what does it mean to you, talking about that and just Huntsville and how important – you mentioned this community. How important is it for you to be a Huntsville Hornet? What does that mean to you, Brian?
Being a Huntsville Hornet is real important, because it was I'm going to tell y'all a little something. It was like last year – I didn't even know if I was going to continue to play football, but Coach Southern sat me down and he talked to me, and I look up to him like as a father figure, just like with Coach Brewer and Coach Smith and Coach Schroeder. Yeah, I look up to all of them. They show me like this is how family's supposed to treat each other, and they just not trying to prepare us to be better football players. They trying to prepare us to be men in life and be a great man to our families and wives and stuff like that.
I think that's important, man.
Well, I do too.
I think that's great,
man.
Brian.
What do you like doing outside of football? What are some of your hobbies?
Oh man, I be on the game. I be on the game, and hobbies. It's like we all do the same thing, because we with each other Monday through Sunday. It's like after practice Saturdays, we all with each other, at each other. They all come to our house, and we all get haircuts, and then we just play, and we just be kids outside of football.
Man, that's awesome.
I think that's important, because especially these days, you know, I think sometimes, you know, young guys and young people forget what it's like to be a kid, and I think that's important, man. You know, I'm around my little nieces, and I said, man, I want to be a kid again, you know, and I've got to think that way too, because I think it's so important. We get so wound up, and I think that's a very good mindset and something cool that you recognize at such a young age, Brian. That's really important, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, finally, future plan. We got a couple more questions. Future plans, man. Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself, man?
After high school, I see myself at a Division I college for the next 3 or 4 years, and then I see myself going to the pros, and then after that, I see myself coming back and either being a head coach for Huntsville or offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
I love it.
Brian, any final questions for Brian to Brian? I didn't even think about that. Brian to Brian over here.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
No, again, you know, it's an honor to talk with you, and we enjoy talking, you know, to your teammates, and of course Ed a few weeks ago, and just watching you guys play as a team for this community, for us is calling the games, and I know your coaches. We're proud of you. Keep it up, and you know, get that W this Friday.
Sting them.
Yes, sir.
Finally, camera here, I got 2 more questions. You know, I asked this to some of you guys. What would you tell yourself 30 years from now? If you could go back, you're finding yourself, you're like, man, there's Brian. That's me. Wait, that's me. What would you tell yourself right now, man, for 30 years from now?
That 2020-2021 state championship look good from 40 years from now.
Oh, man. All right. I like that, man. Come
That's
on.
that confidence we're talking about right there.
That's it, man. Well, finally, last question. We've had fun here, Brian. Appreciate you being here, young man. Who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight here from Huntsville, Texas? Camera's right there on you, man.
First, I want to give a shout-out to my mama and my brothers, all my brothers, and the coaches, and shout-out to Jody.
All right, let's give it up. Brian Bobino, great to have you, young man.
Good job,
Congratulations
Brian.
on a good season.
Yes, sir.
And we're excited. So proud of these guys, Brian. We're going to step aside and take a break. We've got one final segment as we check on the Booster Club and what's going on around here in Huntsville. Stay with us, friends. This is Hornet Nation Coaches Show. We'll be right back.
True Texas Barbecue, smoked with Texas oak wood for up to 14 hours. Barbecue by the plate or pound, plus delicious sides like brisket, beans, creamed corn, potato salad, and coleslaw. Hungry? Stop by True Texas Barbecue inside HEB. Voted best barbecue chain in Texas the past 2 years by Texas Monthly. True Texas Barbecue presents the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Rob Hipp and head coach Rodney Southern live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Come early as seating will be limited. Sting 'em Hornets.
B-I-L-C-O, B-I-L-C-O.
We all know this year has been unpredictable. That's why Bilco Air Conditioning and Heating is prepped for fall and ready for any new norm, extreme weather event, or storm. Our unstoppable train equipment is tested to run. COVID safety protocols? You bet. Experience? Try 30 years. Call 936-646-6691 or visit BilcoAir.com to learn more.
B-I-L-C-O and Bilco is the way.
All right. Welcome back. Final segment. How's everybody doing tonight? Been fun tonight. I tell you, man, when it's little bit of cold weather outside, but it's warm in here. A true Texas barbecue. And we're excited to be able to bring you this show every single Wednesday. By the way, if you're out there listening tonight on 101.7 KSAM, we appreciate you for joining us. Make sure to come out here every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. You'll hear from our great community players, our coaches, and just keeping up with Hornet Nation. Speaking of keeping up with Hornet Nation, I got to tell you, man, the support from the Hornet Quarterback Club has been phenomenal. You guys do such a good job, and we are now joined by Miss Brandy Mclaren. Brandy, good to have you here tonight. Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me tonight.
We kind of put you on the spot last week, and instead we talked to Ken Holland, and we wanted you to come back tonight. So thanks for being here, and thank you for all that you do in the community. It's been phenomenal this season, and just what we're seeing, I think everything is a very important piece of the puzzle, and what you guys do in facilitating and making things happen has been so important for these kids.
Well, thank you. And again, we appreciate what you guys do every day, week in and week out for this program as well, because without the community support, the quarterback club wouldn't even exist. And it's just one of those things where it takes the community to help this program out. They can't do it alone just through the school district. And there's a lot of good things coming towards not just the football program, but other sports and the school district in general. And that's where all your booster clubs come into play to help promote anything in the school, whether it's theater, the band, the GGs, the cheer, the baseball, the football program, all of it in general. And, you know, we have so many great opportunities fixing to come up for our school district that all the booster clubs will need to be involved to help get that stuff going.
You know, homecoming's on Friday. We'll be here at Bowers for the last time.
We will be.
And for the season. One day it'll be kind of cool. Not saying it'll be kind of cool. Maybe one day we can say for the last time ever, and then we'll have our own stadium. One day, who knows,
One
man?
a day, maybe.
So,
we'll never
but
know.
We're thankful.
Of course, it won't be in our time, my time anyway here, but.
But we're thankful, you know, to Sam Houston State and that facility there. It is so much fun being able to call games out of Bowers. I'm going to miss it, you know, after this final game here to finish off, I guess, however you want to word it, you know.
Yeah.
Then we're going to play the last two games, the home games at Madisonville. But talk a little bit about –
It's a bittersweet moment for some of the seniors because this is their last time they'll play in their what you would consider their true home stadium.
For sure.
You know, and as Coach Brewer said earlier, you know, these boys are used to traveling anyway. So now we're going to have to travel another 20 to 30 minutes up the road to go play a home game.
The good news about that extra 20, you know, what is that, maybe an extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes of travel?
If that.
That just gives you another half hour to think about how you're going to go out there and dominate the opposing team. That's what I like. So, you know, it just gives you more mindset going into that bad boy.
You know, it's one of those things, and they've got to overcome that. And I think our boys are very diverse in figuring out how they overcome that challenge. And I think they've proven that time after time when they travel like they do.
Well, you know, the success this year has been phenomenal. Still a lot of football left. Win or lose, the community is always going to be behind the Hornets. I think that it's so important to be involved in the school system, and especially I've enjoyed being a part of you guys and getting to learn more through the program. There may be somebody out there tonight that's listening. They're hopping on the radio signal. They're on YouTube. We had quite a few folks watching on YouTube tonight. How can people get involved? You know, I think there's a misconception that you have to be a parent of a kid to get involved, and that's not true. So let folks know how they can get involved and be a part of this team.
You're absolutely right. It seems like a lot of times people only think that it's just for the parents of the child that's playing in that particular sport, and it's not. It's a community-driven club. We meet on Monday nights at the Joe Clements Fieldhouse there at the high school in the team room at 6 o'clock on Monday evenings. We know for our Mance Park parents, it's difficult because their boys don't get out of practice until 6 o'clock. But we meet every Monday. They can come help at the concession stand on Tuesday and Thursday nights during the Mance Park and the sub-varsity games. We constantly need help with that. Where we were scrambling just the other night to make sure we had enough help to cover the two games we had Tuesday night. So we normally have that. Of course, normally we would be involved in the parade and getting the floats done, but that's not happening tomorrow night. I think they're doing everything through the school, just at school during the day this year. So things are different this year. We couldn't do our tailgates this year. Normally we would have those. We would have volunteers at, but we encourage anybody and everybody out in the community to come join us on Monday nights. Our goal is to eventually one day not be meeting in the field house, but maybe meeting in the commons of the school, because we have so many people involved.
You know what we could do, and I challenge, and I've seen a little bit of it, but I'm going to make a community challenge right now. If you have a business downtown, if you have a business anywhere in Huntsville, get your Hornet gear out and hang it up in your business. Put it out so people that are driving by can see that. and let's give these kids a homecoming parade. I'm not saying we're going to have a parade, but let's give them what could be the equivalent of showing that support that we would see at a homecoming. So I encourage you, if you're a business in the community, get your Hornet gear out, display it in front of your business, and as we drive downtown and throughout the community, we're going to see Hornet spirit everywhere. That's what I want to challenge the community tonight.
That's a great challenge, and we look forward to that. We've got our own spirit gear up at the concession stand that we'll have for sale tomorrow night during the freshman game, because the freshmen will be at home tomorrow night. And just as a reminder, I don't know if everybody saw that or not, but our JV will not start until 6:30 tomorrow evening at A&M Consolidated. So.
And you mentioned, JV and the sub-varsity teams. They haven't lost a game yet either.
No.
That's a lot of pressure.
No.
That is impressive. All of Hornet football undefeated.
Unbelievable. That is awesome.
I don't know if that's ever happened, ever.
I've never heard of it happening. So we'll
Brian,
see what happens.
Any questions from you, Brian, before we hop off of here today? It's been fun.
It has been fun. And I just, Brandy, I want to thank you for your hard work and your other officers in the quarterback club. Folks, if you can help in any way, volunteer some time, join the club, do anything. This is so important for these kids, whether it's football, all the other sports. It is a great organization, a great cause, and we could sure use your help.
And Brandy,
we're
how
only
can
as
they
strong
find
as our volunteers that we have.
That's right. And how can folks find out about you? How can they get involved? Where
They
can
can
they
get
go?
involved. They can check our Facebook page, which is Huntsville Hornet Football. They can also give us a shout out on email, Huntsville Hornets QB Club at gmail.com.
Perfect. Any final comments before we let you go?
We're ready to sting them on Friday night.
All right, well, let's sting them on Friday. I'm excited about that. Well, friends, as always, it's our true honor and privilege to be here. A special thank you tonight to all the players that came out. We appreciate all you young men. We're getting more and more of a crowd here every night, and I want to welcome you again every Wednesday, 6:30. A lot of space in between the tables, so if you're worried about that but you're still okay with getting out, a good opportunity here to be involved with this program and what this Huntsville Hornet football program is doing. It's been phenomenal this season. Brian, has always been a privilege here. And one final thank you to True Texas Barbecue. Thank you for tonight and all that they do. And Miss Vicky. Devin was back there tonight slinging the barbecue?
Yeah,
So he's back there slinging the barbecue tonight. And we've had a lot of fun. We'll be right back here at 6:30 next Wednesday. But, of course, we'll be on the air 7 o'clock, pregame 7:30 kickoff. As your Huntsville Hornets take on the A&M Consolidated Tigers. We'll have that coverage live with video at KSAM1017.com and the all-new Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, and also, of course, on the radio at 1017. So I end every single broadcast. Before we do that, I always end the broadcast in one way, but we got one final thing after that. But I always want to remind you that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there tonight needs you. On the count of three, let's say it like we mean it. The Sting 'em Hornets chant. We got to keep it going. On the count of three, Hornet Nation, 1, 2, 3. Sting 'em Hornets. We'll see you next week. God bless you, Huntsville.
101.7 KSAM is the proud broadcast home of Huntsville Hornet football. Every punt, pass, kick, and tackle is brought to you in part by MRC Creekside Retirement Community, Moak and Moak Attorneys at Law, Murray Insurance and Financial Services, Climatech Secure Storage, Copeland Family Dentist.